You are broke. Not, oh no, I have to skip Starbucks this month, broke. I mean the real thing. Rent is due. Your paycheck already has a name tag on it before it even lands. And somehow, every month disappears faster than the last one. And here's the part that really messes with your head. You did everything right. You got the degree. You sent out the resumes. You took the entry-level job that was supposed to be just the beginning. And 5 years later, you're still there. Still checking your bank account like it might have magically fixed itself overnight. Still watching other people who don't seem smarter than you, don't seem more talented than you, somehow pulling in numbers that make your salary look like a rounding error. You start asking the question everybody eventually asks. Is there something wrong with me? Or is there something wrong with the whole game? Spoiler, it's not you, it's the game. Most people are playing a version of the economy that was never designed to make them rich. You show up, you trade hours for a fixed number. Someone above you decides what that number is. And if you're lucky, once a year they bump it up by an amount that doesn't even keep up with how much eggs cost now. That's not a career. That's a subscription plan for your own life, and you're the product. So here's the uncomfortable truth before we get to the good part. If you are on a fixed salary with no upside, no matter how hard you work, no matter how many extra hours you put in, no matter how much your boss says, "We really value you," in that meeting that somehow never turns into a raise, you have hit a ceiling. And that ceiling was built before you even walked in the door. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because there is one job, one very specific, very unglamorous, often mocked job, where none of that applies. Where your income isn't decided by a manager, a title, or how long you've been sitting in the same chair. Where a 22-year-old with 0 connections and 0 degree can out-earn a 45-year-old with 2 master's degrees, purely because of one skill. That job is sales. I know what you're picturing. Some guy in a cheap suit calling you during dinner about extending your car's warranty. Or a used car salesman doing that thing with his hands like he's trying to hypnotize you into a bad decision. Sales has a reputation problem, and honestly, a lot of it is earned, because a lot of people do it badly, and a lot of people do it in a slimy way. But strip away the stereotype for a second and look at the mechanics of the job itself. Because once you actually understand how it works, you start to realize sales isn't just a job you can do. It might genuinely be the single most financially rational job that exists for a normal person with no starting capital, no rich parents, and no fancy diploma. Let me walk you through why. Point 1. There is no ceiling. In basically every other job on earth, your income is a negotiation between you and someone else's budget. A doctor doesn't get paid based on how many lives they saved that week. They get paid a set rate. A teacher doesn't get paid based on how many kids actually learned something. They get paid on a scale that was decided by people who have never met them. But in sales, especially in commission-heavy roles, your paycheck is not a decision made about you. It's a direct output of what you produced. You close more deals, you make more money. There is no HR meeting required. There is no waiting for your manager to feel generous. The math just happens. This is the single biggest difference between sales and almost every other profession. And it's the reason a 23-year-old salesperson can out-earn a 50-year-old engineer in the same building. Nobody capped how much value that salesperson is allowed to create. Point 2. Nobody cares about your degree. This is the part that should make every broke 22-year-old with student debt sit up straight. Sales is one of the last true meritocracies in the modern economy. Nobody in the interview is asking about your GPA. Nobody cares which university logo is on your diploma. They care about one thing. Can you get people to say yes? That's it. That's the whole test. This means the barrier to entry is basically your own willingness to learn the skill, not your family's bank account, not your zip code, not which private school you went to. If you grew up with nothing, sales does not care. If you grew up with everything, sales does not care about that either. It is one of the only fields left where raw ability actually beats inherited privilege. Point 3. It is the most transferable skill in the entire economy. Here's something almost nobody tells you when you're 22 and choosing a career path. Every single business on the planet, in every single industry, needs someone who can sell. Software companies need it. Construction companies need it. Dentists need it. Nonprofits need it. Even the government, in its own weird bureaucratic way, needs people who can persuade other people. That means once you actually learn how to sell, I mean really learn it, not just be a chatty extrovert, but understand psychology, objection handling, timing, negotiation, you are never, ever going to be stuck without options. You can walk into almost any industry on earth and immediately be useful. Compare that to a highly specialized skill that only exists in one narrow field, where if that industry collapses, you're stuck starting over. Sales skill travels with you everywhere. Point 4. The feedback loop is brutally honest, and that's exactly why it's fair. In a normal corporate job, your growth depends on politics. It depends on whether your manager likes you, whether you're good at optics, whether you happen to be visible during the right meeting. In sales, the feedback is immediate and impossible to fake. You either closed the deal or you didn't. The numbers show up on the board every single week, sometimes every single day. That sounds terrifying, and honestly, it is a little terrifying. But it's also the fairest system that exists. It means you don't need to spend years slowly climbing some invisible ladder, hoping someone notices you. If you're good, everyone knows within weeks. Promotions in sales tend to come fast, precisely because performance can't be hidden the way it can in other departments. Point 5. It teaches you how the entire economy actually works. Here's something people don't appreciate until they've done it for a while. Selling forces you to understand human psychology, negotiation, pricing, positioning, and persuasion, which, whether you like it or not, are literally the core mechanics behind every successful business that has ever existed. Once you understand how to sell, you understand how value actually gets created and exchanged in the real world. This is why so many founders and business owners started out in sales. It's not a coincidence. If you can sell, you can build almost anything, because at the core, every business is just a machine for convincing people to exchange money for something. Learn that skill early, and you have effectively been handed the blueprint for building your own company later, if that's ever the direction you want to go. Point 6. It's one of the fastest realistic paths out of being broke. Let's be blunt. If you're in your early 20s with no savings, no trust fund, and no 4-year head start in some slow-climbing corporate ladder, sales is one of the very few paths where you can realistically start earning serious money within your first year or two, not your first 15. That doesn't happen in most professions. Most professions make you pay your dues for a decade before the real money shows up. Sales doesn't ask you to wait that long. It asks you to perform, and it pays you accordingly, right now. Now, and this is the part that matters just as much as everything I just said, none of this means sales is easy money. It is not. Anyone who tells you sales is easy is either lying to you or selling you something. You will get rejected. A lot. Not occasionally, constantly. You will hear no more times in a month than most people hear in their entire lives. And if you can't handle that emotionally, this job will chew you up. There is no sugarcoating that part. You also need to be careful about who you work for and what you're actually selling, because a bad product with a good sales pitch is still a bad product, and eventually your reputation catches up with you. The people who burn out fastest in sales are usually the ones who took a job selling something they didn't believe in, purely chasing the commission, and it hollowed them out. And you have to actually learn the skill. This is not something you're born knowing. The stereotype of the natural-born salesperson is mostly nonsense. The best salespeople you'll ever meet built that skill deliberately, the same way an athlete builds muscle, through reps, through failure, through studying what works and cutting what doesn't. So here's the real takeaway. Sales isn't some magic shortcut where you show up, smile, and suddenly you're rich. But it is one of the very few jobs left in this economy where your income has no artificial ceiling, where nobody cares about your background, where the skill travels with you anywhere, and where results show up fast enough that you don't have to wait a decade to see if the bet paid off. If you're broke right now and stuck in a job that pays you the same amount no matter how hard you work, that's not a personality flaw. That's a structural problem. And sales might be one of the most honest ways out of it. Not because it's easy, but because it's one of the only games left where the scoreboard doesn't lie.